hey, we don't know how to revive you. this is this is just we're given people in the future who hopefully have the technology to bring you back. Hey everyone, welcome to Squid Link. We're in for another rousing episode of Arma's Nerd Corner. I'm back hosting. We're going to talk about some science-y things, and today I have with me Mr. Matty J.
Hi, I was drunk last time, but I'm not drunk now.
No, it's true. We've sobered him up for this episode specifically.
Yes.
We also have Luli
Hello.
and Shap is back for
Howdy.
another podcast attack. I don't know what
He
that
was also
means, but
drunk last time.
that's
We had a drunk podcast,
that's
and it was
true.
drinking questions.
Yeah.
It was.
He-
It was. I hosted that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I listened to it when I was trying to sleep.
I enjoyed it.
I was drunk.
I was
But,
Did we
drunk 'cause
did we
I
sound
don't drink.
stupid?
No, it was good. I liked it. You guys are
Okay.
chill.
That's-
But anyway,
good.
that's not what we're
You did
here
sound
for.
stupid, but you always sound stupid.
I'm used to it. I'm adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if we want to talk about what's the Stockholm syndrome, we could talk about that
Oh.
later. But as I've made it, as I did in the first podcast of Arma's Nerd Corner, I started off with a Squid Fact, and I've got another one
Oh.
here. So
yeah.
this one is a bunch of squid are bioluminescent, meaning they, glow in the dark. But what's interesting is that the Hawaiian bobtail squid, the glow that comes from its light organ, is actually bioluminescent bacteria that live inside of the squid's body. And every morning, the squid clears all of its tubes, and during the day it doesn't glow, but the bacteria repopulate so that by the evening it's glowing again.
Ew.
That poor squid.
Is that why there's sometimes on a beach you'll see that it's all glowy on the sand?
On the sand, I've seen that. I've seen that picture.
I don't know. I've seen like actual videos of it. I don't know if how many squids would have to.
That would be a lot of squid.
Yeah,
I
to
feel
do
like
that.
it's something else. It could be bacteria or algae or something like that, or
It might be
just
the same
water
thing, right?
or something. Could be something in the sand that's like reflecting the light. But to be honest,
I
I don't
looked
know
at
what
the squid.
picture specifically you're talking about.
The squid's cute.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
adorable.
the Hawaiian
so little.
bobtail squid, very cute. I was looking up through like squid facts and stuff, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, let me Google it. And I'm like, it's adorable. it's a little cute little glowy squid.
Do you know what a group of squid is called?
A squad.
A squad.
Wait, is it actually?
No.
No, it's not a squad.
I'm pretty sure it's a shoal.
I think so.
That was
think
my
that's what
next
it is?
guess.
Oh, okay.
I always want to say pod.
No, that's dolphins and whales.
Yeah, I know. I want to say pod, but
Yes,
it's not.
It's a shoal of squid. But I think there was a petition to change it to a squad of squid, and that's why a lot of people think it's a squad of squid.
Yeah, I Googled it and it says squad, but then
Yes.
it quotes a dude on Twitter, which is like, hold on, this random dude on Twitter can't be like the purveyor of like all naming conventions.
No, I'm sold. Squad.
Yeah, squad.
Yeah, retroactively, sure, where we can
Like how there was
you can
also
call
the petition.
squid squads.
There
Squid
was also
Squad.
the petition to change the Australian currency from Australian dollars to dollary doos.
I would move to Australia if they
I
did
think there
that.
were like
That's all it
50,000
takes.
signatures.
That's a lot of people.
That's like say no more.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I'll finally have
That's
a friend.
but yeah, so that's
Continue
delightful.
on.
I'm glad we've all learned something about Australia and
And dollary
squid.
dues.
I'm actually I'm this I can't stop looking at this little tiny squid. It's so
I
cute.
know. I
What's
honestly
it
was
called?
the
Hawaiian
Hawaiian.
bobtail squid.
Yes.
I want one.
You have to
Oh,
have Google open when you're having
when you're
these science facts and stuff.
Yeah,
Just you just
you
oh,
gotta
gotta
be
look it
ready.
up.
so
Yeah.
Um,
cute. Look at them.
yeah,
This little baby.
maybe we can get a picture thrown in on the video side of the podcast, um, but yeah, I recommend looking it up and celebrating its beauty.
Cuteness, dude. It's adorable.
That's what we're gonna base the Uwu Squid logo off of.
That's
Yeah.
we're changing it. We've
I
found
mean,
a
it's
new.
already pretty cute, so.
Yeah, it's true. I do like the logo we got. But I do also love the Hawaiian bobtail squid. So,
I
you
love
know.
him. He must be protected.
But yeah, let's jump into the starter topic I had written up. I wanted to talk about 3D printing, right? Like how like that like personalized creation and stuff sort of like because right now it's a hobby. It's really not that expensive. Um, if you can 3D model it, you can print it, and then imagining where this like technology is going to go in the next couple decades. Um, like I have a 3D printer. I got it as a Christmas gift last year, and it's
Nice.
been pretty cool. And I fidget with things all the time that I've printed. Uh,
What have you made?
so
Did you make a fidget spinner?
I've made a back scratcher
Oh,
because
nice.
one day my
That's
back
actually
itched
dope.
and I was like, you know
I knew
what?
it was
I have a solution. I don't need to try and find some weird long stick thing to scratch my back with. I can just print a long stick thing.
Wouldn't the itch go away though by the
It
time
did.
that's
It
3D
wasn't.
printed?
It was like a 30-minute to an hour long printing process, and
It's not flimsy, is it?
well, it has broken in half where the
Aw.
handle
Oh,
was,
it's
but
flimsy.
but what I have left is about 6 inches of a back scratcher, so it still works. I just can't go as far.
Okay.
Uh,
Arma, I have the solution for you. My brother uses a pasta scoop.
that sounds not sanitary at all.
Yeah, that's
Well,
Yeah.
gross.
we don't use it for pasta.
I'd hope not.
He might.
No, he
Oh.
does not.
The rest
He's
of the family probably doesn't.
He doesn't cook. He's too lazy, but he uses a pasta scoop.
No, this is why everyone needs a 3D printer. You need to save your
Yeah.
brother. He's spiraling into a fit
Oh,
of using. Oh,
I
you got
bought him an actual back scratcher.
okay, that's good. I'm glad his
I was
descent into
shopping for, like,
madness
$10.
has stopped.
I can
But
buy
yeah,
one.
so um, I've done the back scratcher. I have printed a I have this little fan, but it's like a clip-on fan, so it clips onto like a desk or a windowsill or something. Except all of the surfaces that I have around me are not like the little lips around like my desk is not deep enough to actually clip the fan onto. So I modeled and 3D printed a base for it that I could just unscrew the clip-on part and then screw the base onto. And now it just sits up on my desk. So, it's been useful. I printed a toothbrush holder for my toothbrush before I was just dropping it in a cup.
Like
Now I have
most people, that's
yeah.
that's what I do. Actually, I don't have a holder for my toothbrush.
And it's just
Maybe
people
you can
who
get
have
Arma to
the
3D print you one.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's true.
that's a business right there, Arma.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, people already make those, but and probably for cheaper.
You could
Damn.
be one of those fancy people who have like the toothbrush that like they vibrate, and then you can just stand them up on their own, and you don't need anything to hold it.
Yeah,
So
if
what? I
you're
just move.
rich.
I have the vibrating toothbrush up on this giant 3D printed arm, holding it in front of my mouth, and then I just move my head to brush my teeth rather than having
Nice.
to move my arm.
If you
You could.
have like a vibrator, like a sex toy, and then you just have like a normal toothbrush and you duct tape them together, is that like the same effect or not
Does it
really?
brush your teeth better or worse? It's
Yeah.
interesting. Be interesting to find out.
That is an
Catch us
interesting
on the next
question. Yeah.
Yeah,
podcast.
chances are that Maddie's gonna go buy a vibrator and then test this out
Strap
for
it
us.
to
So,
I already have one.
oh, there you
Oh.
go.
No.
There you go.
Oh,
We're already there.
Maddie, I think you should buy a fresh one for
No,
being.
no.
Yeah.
Back
All right, hold on. As
back to
host
the
of this
3D printer.
podcast, I'm now banning this topic.
Sorry.
Uh,
Back to the 3D printer.
yeah. So I wanted to talk about 3D printing because I've been able to use it for like little things and hobbies, like little desk toys, and just like, oh, I kind of need this thing. I can just print one. Uh, so I'm not that great at 3D modeling or anything, but it's been actually really nice to have. So I think it's kind of interesting, and I wanted to pose the question as to like what you guys thought about 3D printing, if you'd want a 3D printer, or if we just have some device in the future that's just like, oh, hey, I need a toothbrush holder, and then you download a toothbrush holder like from your little 3D printer device, and it just goes and makes it for you.
I think it'd be really cool. I mean, I've been watching Michael Reeves a
Oh yeah.
lot lately, and like there's like some like parts that he'll like 3D model, take it into like AutoCAD or whatever it is, and model it, and then 3D print it, and then like he makes this cool robot. And then there's other times when he just like gets a Tide Pod container, like cuts out a hole, and he's like, "That's the robot." But yeah, I mean it seems like the potential for 3D printing is just like we're not even close to the end yet, because I think one day there's going to be a way to 3D print food.
Yeah.
Is that
Aren't
not
they
already
already?
a thing?
Is
Yeah.
it?
They're
Is
Yeah,
it
I'm
really?
pretty sure this one guy 3D printed a steak.
yeah.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know how that works, but yeah.
well, you print it one meat bit at a time,
But
right?
like, why would you do that?
It's
Okay, so
very
like
tender from the get-go.
I
I swear,
guess.
I think he did it like out of plant matter as well. So
Okay, that's cool.
It's
Like,
pretty
I
nice.
could make a steak look like a carrot and be like, I'm dieting.
I'm so healthy.
Yeah, but that's like, Star Trek kind of technology, right? Like,
yes.
uh, I, yeah, I don't know if you guys watch Star Trek, but to be honest, I don't really either. But I know that there's a microwave, in like the new generation or something that they press a button and it basically takes all the atoms of like carbon and stuff that would be in a meal and just places it and connects it in a way that becomes like a burger.
But would it taste the same?
It just reminds me of Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys know
Yeah.
what scene I'm talking about? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
for 3D printing, like the thing that I would use it for is like, have you seen all the people who use it for like cosplaying?
Yeah.
That is like, I know a guy made
Sword.
the Berserk, yeah, the sword from Berserk, from Guts' sword.
Oh, yeah.
And he did it like in parts. And he's like, you don't have to do it in one whole big part. You can do it in parts, and then like stick it together, like glue it or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And it looks so cool. Like it's just, like a person who made Iron Man armor.
Oh yeah. I
That's so
um
cool.
I saw a video of one girl who basically 3D printed a bunch of joints like for a gauntlet and
Oh,
attached them to like a leather glove and then, spray painted it to look like or like all the pieces to look like metal. And it looks
Cool.
so good. And it's crazy. Like I wish I had a good setup to do painting and things like that because I feel like I would
Mhm.
3D print more stuff.
Probably like a
Uh,
garage.
yeah, yeah. The garage I have is filled with my landlord's stuff, so that's
No,
that's
yeah,
a no go.
you
Uh,
cannot.
but yeah, for like cosplay and costuming um and even in like I don't know if it's used in like movie productions in Hollywood and stuff like that.
And clone armor, making
Yeah.
clone armor for Star Wars, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, like what I'm really looking forward to is like having the technology because right now it works by printing layers of like a plastic filament on top of each
Yeah.
other, which means it's kind of brittle along those layers. But I've seen recently new printers coming out actually change they're allowed to print on an angle. So you print a whole curve as like a single line, and like the little print head, the extruder that the plastic comes out of, can rotate around the thing. So rather than having a sphere made up a bunch of horizontal lines that could just break down the middle, you have a whole curve, and that curve is able to hold the stress of like impacts and stuff a lot more, and then makes the print stronger. Uh, so that's something I'd love to see, like really take off because it makes the quality of prints way better.
When did it really take off? Like, do you know like what years when it's like I remember back then when they were talking about it, and I was like, man, this is gonna be like so expensive, like 3D printing and all that. When did it start taking off? Do you know like what year?
Let's see. I remember the first time I heard about 3D printers, like at all. They were like $1,000 kits that you would build yourself.
Yeah,
And I saw that stuff in like 2010 for like the first time or 2011, like about 10 years ago. And the printer I have uh, is like $170, something like that.
nice.
Really?
It can print. I had to put it together a little bit, but it's just like connecting wires mostly and like screwing in like the frame. It's
Oh man, I just Googled it. Do you want the guess what year it started off?
the first the
2000.
first 3D print, or
Yeah,
I feel like we
It's
had
probably not.
weird versions of 3D printing before that with like sand and resin or something like that.
really.
But like plastic printers, I assume they were out like a little bit before when I remember 2006.
The
I was
first
I was
3D
gonna guess
print.
2010.
Okay, Lily.
I was guessing like 2000. I went real early.
Okay, the first 3D printer ever created was made in 1983 by Chuck Hull.
I win.
Wow. No, it's the Price
I was
is
Chuck
close.
Right. We all went
Hole.
over, we lose.
That is
Fuck.
crazy.
That's a
Damn
lot
it.
earlier than I thought. It
Yeah.
It
Me
is.
too.
it makes
I wanted to go earlier, but I didn't.
yeah, I guess once you have computers, people were doing a lot of stuff with them. But yeah, no, I wouldn't because the programming is not too complicated. It's just kind of some axes and just telling a motor to pull the filament through. But yeah, no, I had no idea it was that long ago. I remember around the time that there was like a huge 3D printer, and the way it worked was it would print like a 2D layer of glue on like a pane of glass or something like a flat surface, and then the machine would dump like a bunch of sand on it, and then it'd kind of like shake it out, and then it'd print another layer of glue, and then shake more sand on top of it. So it was like building like a statue head, like a reproduction of something with sand and just like resin or glue or something like that was holding it together. But it was this massive machine, and it was used at like for a museum and like making like reproductions of museum props and stuff like that or artifacts.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, but now like we can just do that. Like I just
For
download it.
$100.
Yeah.
They're
You can
not all
get
just $100.
There's some really expensive ones that are
Yeah.
nice.
Like
I know, but
I'm looking at one that's like $2,000.
well,
That's one of the
yeah,
nice
but like
ones.
Arma, yeah. But you can like the thing is you can do it on a budget. Like you don't have to get the $2,000 one. Like
Yeah,
Arma just said
true.
he had one for how much was it?
Like
100 something?
170 is
So
like
okay,
what
like
mine is.
$200, let's say,
Yeah.
and he made a whole bunch of cool little things you can mess around with. That's so cool.
Yeah, you also gotta price in the stuff that it's printing with the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
filament.
plasticky stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those
How
aren't
much is
too
that?
expensive. I don't know, maybe I haven't had to buy any because well, for Christmas, my mom gave me a whole lot of it, and I'm just like I'm nowhere near using all of it. I got like 6 rolls of the stuff, and my mom, it was funny. My mom's like, "I got you all the colors of Mario
Oh.
so you could print Mario." And I'm just like, "That's not really how that works, but thank you for all the different colors."
That is absolutely how it works, and I'm
So
surprised
cute.
and appalled that you haven't printed Mario yet.
I'd have to print it in
No,
all these separate pieces and then like put it
Yeah,
together.
You gotta
yeah,
it's
do
like
it for mom, dude.
yeah.
it's
Do
Now
like
it
you
for
have
printing a
mom.
figure.
do it for mom.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I did print out a little like Paper Mario like diagram thing. They're
Well,
like,
I gotta see that.
oh yeah,
I love Paper Mario.
You know what? Mother's Day has already passed. I don't know when your mother's birthday is, but you should just gift her a Mario. You print it. It's like I made this for you.
yeah. Well, I've sent my mom a bunch of pictures of the things that I've printed, and so I think I think she's good. But and last year I bought her a fridge, so you know it's
Oh, hey,
my
big
brother and I
spender.
both split it. But Shep, I'll get a picture of that to you later. I don't know if I have it on hand,
Oh heck
but
yeah.
um, so what it is are basically individual picture frames, right? Is the best way to explain it, but they snap into each other. So on one of them, I have a little picture of Paper Mario, and then on the other one, I've got a picture of, I say picture, but it's printed, obviously, but an image of the lava piranha plant, the boss in the game. So I can snap the two frames together, and I get Mario facing off with like the lava piranha plant, but you actually have that depth that the game had. So
Wow.
That's really cool actually.
yeah,
That
I'd
that
love
sounds
to paint it, but
you should make one of Tubba Blubba.
yeah, no, I want to do more of them and maybe print it larger because the issue I had, the piranha plant came out really well because it's a pretty simple design, but Mario got kind of messy in the details, so
Oh.
it needs a little bit of work. But the concept is really cool, and you have like this ability to make those like what are they called? Like those fifth grade like dioramas where you're in just like, oh, there's a little tree here. You threw some like grass in the back and put an elephant there. It's the savannah. I show it off for my fifth grade project.
I
Which
loved
is
making
sucky.
dioramas.
Pretty funny.
But yeah, so I did technically print a Mario. It just wasn't with all the colors. It's just red because that's what I had in the printer. But
I'd be upset if he was gray.
yeah, I don't have green.
That's
Well,
That's not a
that would
color of Mario.
that would be a Luigi board.
It's true.
not a Luigi board.
A Ouija board? Um,
We get it?
yeah. So yeah, so there's a lot of places you can go with 3D printing. Even without filament, there are 3D printers that has a build plate that goes into like a pool of resin, and then a laser, like a UV laser, shines and hits the build plate, and where it hits, it solidifies the resin.
Oh,
So the build plate moves up, lets more resin in, and then the UV laser cures it on top of the build, and then it slowly pulls up. So if you watch like a time lapse of a resin printer, it's literally pulling an object up out of like a pile of liquid goop, and it looks really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those are
I love
the more
science.
expensive ones for sure.
Yeah.
But they make really clean prints though, because you don't get those layer lines.
Yeah, and you can go really small with it as well, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, you have a high level of precision. But those are really cool. There's a resin that is ceramic. Like it's like 60% ceramic, 40% resin. So you can literally build it in the same way with like a ceramic resin, and then you put it in like a little kiln and fire it, and then you have a small 3D printed ceramic piece.
Dang.
I
Love plates.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's a guy on YouTube that I watch. He's a Portuguese dude. His channel's Integza, and he makes little rockets, and he has like a ceramic uh printer or a printer capable of printing ceramics like that. It's super interesting watching him build rockets that he 3D printed, and he's like pumping oxygen into them, and it's he's crazy, but it's pretty interesting.
So he's like the Elon Musk of 3D printing.
Okay, well, I don't think he's at that level, but
He could be though.
yeah, one day he'll 3D print a rocket he can ride to space.
Everyone's gonna be
No.
3D printing their own rocket. Just
Yeah,
flying.
I
You're gonna see
mean,
everyone's just flying.
Cars are gonna have to come first, right?
Dang,
Maybe.
I guess you're
Straight
right.
to rocket.
just skip that whole generation of vehicles. And we're going to the moon.
All right, I'm making my own Lamborghini.
I mean, you could 3D print a model Lamborghini right now.
Yeah, that's not. You can't drive that.
You
What do you
can
mean?
turn them into shoes and make them
What
roller
if-
skates.
What?
Look, what if I 3D print a Lamborghini, right? Just a shell,
Mhm.
and then I get this little beat up Honda, and I remove, the frame of the Honda, and I replace it with my Lamborghini shell.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you could definitely do
it would
that.
look like it. Would it perform like a Lamborghini though?
I mean, no, but I could drive it.
It's true. Let's talk about 3D printing organs, right? Let's move on to that.
Oh,
Let's go into
I was
medicine.
going to
Steak!
talk about that actually.
I love steak.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you the floor then, Maddie.
I don't have much to add. I just heard that they were doing it, but
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay, what kind? Like, are they like? Are we to the technology point where you can like 3D print a human heart
Yes.
and have like a heart transplant?
Well, we haven't transplanted it, I don't think. But I believe there is a video of a 3D printed heart beating.
Huh?
The
Let's
thing
see.
is, how long would it last? Like, what if it with
Yeah.
time it like deteriorates or like stuff like that? Like That's so scary.
Well, if you think
That's
about it, they
scary.
already make those like pumps that they just put in you, right? Then they're not necessarily like they're not a heart in the sense of it's the organ, but it's something that helps your heart beat. So you could really just put the two together and
Yeah.
Why
put them
would you
in.
just get a working heart if it beats and like then like you wouldn't need a defibrillator
I'm
or
more so talking about the material that it's being like what is it? What is it being made of? Like
But
skin.
there are like flexible plastics that you
Just
can
human
print.
tissue.
Oh no, they take it from
Well,
the morgue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they might.
so
no.
this
They're
video
not
I
using it
found,
anymore.
It's dead tissue. I don't think it
Wait,
works
what
like
is it,
that.
Arma?
so the video I found is made of silicon or silicone.
Okay. I
Wow.
mean, they already
Fake
put.
news.
Yeah, I was about to say people already put that in their body,
Breast
so
augmentation.
Yeah. Um,
But that's actually not very good for you because there's this thing called implant implant illness where like the toxins from the silicon causes them to have a lot of brain fog and depression and even immune system defects.
mm,
But
yeah,
it's
it's
worth it for big titties.
God damn it, Maddie.
we all make sacrifices in life. But yeah, I posted the video I found of the silicon like artificial heart into the voice chat
I'm actually
Okay.
watching it.
thing. Yeah, it starts beating around 35 seconds if you just wanted to watch that part. And I know there's been experiments where you're printing with actual cells and stuff like that as well. I don't believe we've done anything human with that, but I believe we've like 3D printed like pig livers or something. I was thinking about why wouldn't we be able to like print organs for like pets and stuff like that, right? Like, because currently these days, the way your dog or something, your dog's not really going to get a heart transplant. Like, it's possible and it's been done, but the cost of doing all that and getting like a donor heart from like
Another dog, and
right, and then you
yeah,
get into like all this ethical stuff of like, well, this donor dog was just in the shelter and like
Uh,
right, like you get into
Dog
some
lives
stuff.
matter.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
about that. There are actually donor dogs, but they're not for like hearts and stuff. They're for blood, and it's usually greyhounds because greyhounds have a universal blood type for dogs. So if you get like a rescue greyhound, sometimes they'll be from like the racing and stuff, but a lot of the time they'll be from these like places where they just take the blood from the dog to give to other dogs.
wow.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because Lily, I figured you'd know something like that because of your affection for animals and interest in veterinary stuff. So, um, but yeah, it's interesting
I
because
will.
I was briefly looking at what animals do get like transplants and stuff like that, and it's like kidneys is like the biggest one, right? Because you can have a donor dog and the dog will be fine because it has two kidneys, just like we do.
Classic
Um,
kidneys.
yeah. So it was something that I was just like, huh, I'm now reading about dog kidneys. I was not expecting to be doing that, but I thought it was really interesting because you get to sidestep a lot of the moral issues if you can just get to the point where we can 3D print like animal organs and stuff like that from like sampling of tissues and stem cells from like the animal itself.
Mm.
It'd be probably well, I don't know how expensive that stuff is to
But
begin with,
then
but
there comes a question. When can I just print my own dog?
I was going to ask that too.
I don't
Can I
know.
just print a whole dog? And is that ethical
Would it
for
be
me to print a
alive?
dog?
Wouldn't that go into cloning?
Kind of, yeah.
It depends where you get the brain.
That
Like
was like
that's my biggest question. It's like, how do you have the brain
3D
actually
print it.
work?
Just, wire it up.
Yeah, but you need the DNA to give it the instructions. So at that point,
So-
I guess it would be a clone.
and that's where I'm going. Like like you can't just 3D print a dog, right? And be like, all right, buddy, come here. It's how's it alive? You know? So
Robo dog.
Yeah. I would
I
suggest
had
if
one as
anyone
a kid.
wants to 3D print their own dog, there are plenty of dogs in local shelters that would love to
Yes.
have you.
That is
Don't
true.
Nah,
get
3D print it.
No, yes. Adopt from shelters.
Um,
You remember that robot dog back in like
The eye dog?
the yeah.
yeah, my brother had a friggin' iTunes iPod dog, and it would just bark randomly throughout the day, and it would scare me all the time.
That's your
Normal
dog.
dogs do that.
Yeah. It's realistic.
Yeah, but this one would bark and then play like music, and
I
Were
was
they
really
were
hoping you would
expensive,
just
were they
throw me
not?
back with a title.
yeah, they were a little pricey, but they weren't that bad. I don't know. I want to say they were like like $40 to $60 in that range. Does that sound right?
I think
Probably
so.
so, yeah.
I don't know, I never had one.
Yeah. Well, it's.
I wasn't rich.
I wasn't either.
No, I was just kidding.
I just think we're old.
Yeah.
Lily, did
Yeah.
iPods
why
even
I'm-
like matter to you growing up?
I had
Oh
an
my
iPod.
God.
Well, an iPod Touch, not just an iPod. It was an iPod
There we
Touch.
go. There.
Yeah.
And I think I
That's
spent like
that.
$600
Touch
on some
screens.
stupid game.
Yeah.
My parents' money.
Yeah, my brother did that as well. He played
They got
some.
so mad at me, and then as I got older, I was like, every kid's done that.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things because parents don't understand that kids can just buy stuff through there, and kids don't understand that pressing the buy button actually charges the parents money. It's
Oh no, I know.
Yes.
I just didn't care. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, the organ stuff is pretty crazy, especially because human organs and organ donation is like you have huge waiting lists, right? Because a lot of people don't do it, or if people die, it's for
Yeah.
reasons that the organs aren't good anymore.
I actually had one of my uncles passed away because he was on the waiting list for I think it was his lungs
Oh,
were failing.
geez. I can't imagine that
Yeah.
there's that many lungs going around either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he had an accident in Mexico where he fell like in this he had an accident like in the water, like on the little jet ski, and I think something with the water he drank and it went down, I don't know. It infected his lungs and
Uh,
yeah, so his lungs were failing and he was on the list and yeah, he, he didn't make it.
yeah, that's rough.
That's another thing. It has to be like immaculate to be to be donated. Like, there's anything wrong with that organ, they'll just reject it.
Yeah,
You know? And I'm like, well, I would rather have like lungs that I have to take like asthma medication for than not have lungs at all.
yeah.
I guess that
Never
makes
have
sense.
lungs
Yeah.
at
But
all, you'd be
that
dead.
you get into like medical lawsuit stuff, right? Like, well, you gave my father bad lungs, and he had to suffer for like asthma for like the rest of his life or something like
The
that, and
remainder
then
of his life.
yeah,
Yeah.
so It's just like, well, like we could do that, but then you got to sign a waiver that's like, hey, these lungs aren't that great. But then people are like, well, I didn't understand that it was gonna be like a medical issue. And then,
Oh my
it's
god.
right, like that's the issue you run into is that unless they're like really sure that it's just like a lot of organ donors actually end up being people who like die in car accidents and stuff like that, which is kind of like a crazy thing to think about where like if we get like AI cars and stuff like that and they are better drivers than us because we are horrible drivers as a species.
We are.
We are the best drivers out of all species, but we're still bad drivers.
That we know of.
Yeah,
We know
it's
of.
it's true.
Actually, roly polies have another say on that because they drive really well if they're in a little ball and they grow up and you just
No.
That's true.
yeah,
You got me there. I don't have a good comeback on that one.
roly polies.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like it's a weird thing to think about that bringing self-driving cars like into the world is actually going to hurt the number of organs we have to transplant.
Mm.
Like that's kind of a bizarre consequence. But it sort of shows the issue of like the reliance on other organs to to save people's lives and stuff medically. So it's kind of a crazy thing, but it further pushes the need for the ability to manufacture organs. And it's like one of those things in the
Unless,
future that it's like, hey, that's like one of those technologies that I'm like, I'd really like them to put a lot of work into that one right now. That one that has a pretty big effect on its like success.
well, here's another thing, and this is kind of like a weird question, but like, what if like that person that like needed like a kidney transplant or like a lung or whatever is being manufactured, whether it be like from another human or 3D printed. What if that guy did a bad thing? He's convicted criminal, but he has the
Sentenced to
money to
death?
do it.
Oh,
Do we? I guess my point is, do we keep that person alive, or we're just like, mm, sorry.
Keep that person alive and then we arrest them and for the rest of their life.
Yeah, wait, so are they well they're in prison already?
Yeah, sure. For this
I don't
scenario,
think the
sure.
prison system would foot the foot the bill to actually do
What if
that
he
kind of
has
stuff.
like a rich uncle on the outside? And it's like,
Surely they would have bribed the fucking prison to let him go.
Yeah. I feel like someone in this situation would absolutely have just, paid bail and then fled to another country.
probably so. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's like, is it execution if you just don't save their life? Like, what
Uh,
constitutes murder?
kind of. Yeah.
Like, that gets into some moral gray areas that I'm not
Yeah.
sure we're able to confidently cover
How
in
do
this
you
very
decide
educational podcast.
if they're worth saving or not?
also I have it. I think it's our. I think it's around the same topic.
Hmm.
Do you think that? And I'm pretty sure this is. I don't know if it's real. I think it's real. I'm pretty sure it's real. You know the people that are. When they die, they get frozen.
Oh yeah, cryogenics.
Rig-
Yeah.
There you go. Do
oh,
you
I was
think
I was
that?
gonna say rigor mortis, but
Oh,
No.
I
That's not
understand where you're
what the
coming
face
from, but
do you think that that will ever be a thing?
so the way cryogenics works, for companies that do it, there are companies that will cryogenically freeze you for like $100,000 or something like that. And the way it works, if you just freeze somebody, they're dead. Because the water inside of all of your cells expands and bursts every cell in your body.
Oh,
Because the ice crystals just pierce it. And so it's like, hey, yeah, if you die in the Arctic, you're just dead. You're not going to be brought back to life. Maybe your DNA will be preserved, and someone can make a clone of you. And then maybe if your clone retains memories, which I have no idea how any of that works, and it's very science fiction, but that is the only way he'll be resurrected in
but
that
it's still not
situation.
me. It's
Right.
still not me. It's a clone. Okay, so that's all a scam. That whole freezing
It,
yourself.
well, the way they get around it is that they pump the body uh full of a saline solution, right? So it's like salt water basically, which
Mhm.
lowers the freezing temperature of the body, and they pump it around your body for like a little bit to try and like get it in all the cells, and then will lower your body temperature to below freezing. Uh, I don't really think that does anything because
Yeah,
the end result is still like, hey, we don't know how to revive you. this is just, we're given people in the future who hopefully have the technology to bring you back.
they
The
can
best
experiment
chance
on
is
you.
possible.
I mean, that's basically what it sounds like. Is just like, you know what, you're gonna be like. So who goes first, right? Like the more you pay, the like how does that work? Because you have to experiment on it if you're gonna try and
Yeah, well, people
actually.
cryogenically freeze their pets as well. It's cheaper. They get a smaller container. So
Oh, so
it's
the
like not even a joke either. Like people,
Wow, animal testing again.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's how it is.
No, I'm not super against animals. When it's cruel, I'm against it, but
I mean, they're already dead. There's nothing you can.
Yeah.
when it's
Well, the thing is,
cruel
it's
to test
better
on animals.
if they're alive and almost dead because the body starts to decompose like as soon as your heart stops. Um, that's why if you know those stories of like if somebody drowns and their brain is without oxygen for like 10 minutes, they suffer like permanent brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because it starts.
Yeah. So
It's like,
if you die and then they go and do the whole process to freeze you, it's too late. Like your brain is toast.
that
Uh,
reminds me. Like, what about the people who uh, the people that die and then like kind of like come back to life after a
mhm.
Zombies.
while? No,
Yes.
no. I'm talking about
No.
like, like when there's stories of people who have died and then like minutes later
Well, yeah, that's true.
they come
Yeah.
back to life. That's a whole other topic, like, but that what about them? Like, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like there are people like I want to say the world record for holding your breath is over 10 minutes. Um okay, I had looked it up. The world record for someone holding their breath is 24 minutes 37
What?
Oh
seconds,
my god.
which
Yeah,
is
I'm pretty sure before that record was set, usually they just breathe in a whole bunch of pure oxygen.
yeah.
Just oxygen on its own, nothing else is in it, and then they go and do the record.
Yeah, right. Like you oxygenate the blood. So you don't need as much air that you have to breathe in. And then you just don't move. So your body isn't using like any oxygen, right? Like
Yeah,
you like don't eat beforehand because otherwise your body is using oxygen to like
digest.
digest and all this stuff. And I didn't think this was going to be 24 minutes. I thought I remembered a special of this dude trying to break the world record. Um
when you said 10 minutes, I believed you. I was like, okay. You said 24 minutes, and I was like, holy, are you what?
Yeah, apparently he broke this record in March. I'm like looking
Oh,
at this.
recent.
Yeah,
Of this
yeah,
year?
March 27th, 2021.
Jeez.
This I gotta butcher his name. Budimir Sabat from
No, that sounds
Croatia
right.
held
You're
his
probably wrong.
held his breath. So, and he's 56 years old. So like I'm just kind of
Whoa,
amazed now. Like,
what a
but
cool dude.
He's a
yeah,
healthy gamer.
but yeah. So like right, if you properly prepare and can hold your breath for that long, you're not going to suffer the brain damage. So it depends on like if they can keep the blood oxygenated. You technically don't have to breathe. But although you kind of need to exhale anyway, but I don't know, it's a whole thing.
I remember seeing this thing where this guy took a bunch of oxygenated blood. He chucked it in a blender.
What?
And he mixed it up, and that oxygenated it.
Well, this sounds like a
gross.
fascinating video.
It was on TV.
Oh,
And it was on a kids show on TV. So that was fun.
No kids had nightmares that night.
I mean, it was pig blood. So,
Oh, well, I mean, still. Is that
I
like?
didn't.
Do you
I'm kinda
remember watching
fascinated
Will
by
It
that.
Blend? Has anyone watched that?
not in a long
No.
time, but
I haven't
yeah.
either, but that's a classic. I remember him blending iPhones and shit, and he was like, "Don't breathe this." It's kind of
Yeah. Hey, this is full of toxic metals that I just powderized. I wouldn't recommend it.
okay, but going back to like the like is it called like cryogenic freezing,
Yes.
or is that okay? Isn't there an urban
Rigor
legend that Walt Disney is frozen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
He's
mean,
dead.
Well, yeah, I know he's dead, but like when he died, did they freeze his body and then like one day they're gonna bring him back to life once they figure out how to do that?
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure that's just an urban legend.
I don't think
Uh,
it's true.
I don't know. It'd be pretty cool to talk to the old Walt. I wonder.
I
I
feel like
wonder, like,
he had
if
some
you.
questionable morals.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah. Okay, we're not getting into that, but um, do you
oh
think
wait,
like
I love
when you
Disney.
when you're revived from being frozen, like, do you remember your past life, or is it like you're being born again?
I don't know.
it depends how
Like,
much brain damage you suffered, but
yeah.
Well, probably a lot. And there's no brain activity
Oh,
if you're dead. So
okay. That goes back to the whole when you're talking about like when like you freeze yourself, your cells, and like how it like if you're frozen, like you die, right? But what about your brain? Like, what if your brain freezes? You can't put like some other type of liquid in there, right? So
there is only one kind of brain juice.
that's brain juice. Like what?
yeah,
Like,
so well that's like that's where cryogenics really kind of gets sketchy. Like
it's a
I
scam.
mean, yes,
Yeah, a little
but
bit, yeah.
that's not to say that the people who are like running these companies believe they're scamming people. It's a scam more because that they've scammed themselves into believing that they can actually cryogenically freeze people. But it's like the idea is that the saline solution doesn't freeze and that you just take all of the water that's in your body, like all the hydration, and just like swap it out for saline.
And my
Um,
brain juice.
well, the brain juice is a lot of
I feel
water.
like you're very attached to your brain juice.
I think the
You
brain
have to be.
the
Of course, I
brain
would
is
be.
really high percentage water. Let me look up that actual number.
Aren't we in general a high percentage of water?
Time to Google what is brain juice.
I was about to Google that. What is brain juice?
Oh my god.
So
There's a brand.
the brain is
Oh, there's
73% water.
Ah,
So is the heart. But the lungs are 83% water.
whoa. Calm down there,
I'm
lungs.
gonna butcher this because I always butcher shit. Cerebrospinal. I butchered that, right? Cerebrospinal fluid.
Cerebrospinal
Oh, yeah.
fluid.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I butchered the fuck out of it.
Yeah, it was good. It was close.
Close enough.
Is a clear fluid that surrounds the brain and spinal cord. That's my brain juice right there.
That's
Gotcha.
it.
Yeah.
It cushions the brain and spinal. Also, how are you gonna replace that with what's the thing that they replaced my blood with?
Saline,
Saline
solution.
solution.
It's not
There
your
you go.
blood. It's the water.
Yeah.
You know that stuff can actually leak out as well.
Yeah.
Brain juice?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a lot of side effects when it happens.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
No, it's
What
not.
causes it? Okay, so basically don't throw your head into a brick wall and you'll be okay.
Yeah. I'm sure
Gonna
it's
do
I'm
it.
sure it's an issue that a lot of professional NFL players face.
Probably
Poor
so,
people.
yeah.
Oh,
This poor people. Maybe don't throw
Yeah,
that up
well,
the spine.
they kind of sign up to slam their giant, like 300-pound bodies into each other. So
They get paid.
yeah, they make a lot of money. It's just we all make our choices in life.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a football player, I'd do it for like 2 years, make bank, and then just be like, all right, I'm out.
Just had enough.
Yeah, it's a tough job, but they certainly get paid enough to compensate for that.
Hmm. They
Sure.
get paid enough to cover the medical bills.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, cryogenics. We have no evidence that it works, and
Not yet. I still want to
it's not
believe.
looking good.
So you would freeze yourself, Maddie?
I wouldn't pay money to freeze myself, no.
What if you were rich?
Uh I don't know. Well, okay. Would I already be dead? Or would I
Yeah,
like
let's say you died natural causes.
Well, you have to die in natural causes in their care, so they can like swap out all your
oh
blood
dude.
immediately.
Freeze you right away, yeah.
Really?
Uh,
So if I die, like let's say right now, right, and then
you wouldn't
uh,
have time to like get to the cryogenic place and be like,
Yeah.
drain me.
Yeah, unless you're like
oh,
that Croatian guy and can hold your breath for 24 minutes and not suffer brain damage from oxygen loss, you're done for.
there's no way in hell I'm gonna.
Better get to training that breath holding.
Yeah, if you want to be cryogenically frozen, I recommend that you do breathing exercises every day.
You got me fucked up, dude. I can hold my breath for like a minute underwater and that's it.
That's it.
And then I come out of the fucking water and I'm like, like
I'm
gasping
dying.
for air. Yeah, no,
I think the longest I could ever go is like 3 minutes, maybe 4.
I don't
Pressing X
I
for
remember.
used,
doubt.
Time
I used to be able
myself.
to be under the water for
X
a long
X for
time.
doubt. X X X X.
This was back when I swam a lot. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember what my best was. I feel like I've gotten 2 minutes, but
That's
to be honest, I
believable.
never really tried.
My dad could do it for a long time, but he would do like he like sits at like on the bottom of the water. He doesn't move. He's just sitting there.
Oh yeah, I
That
would
would be
always
really
float.
creepy to like walk out and like your dad's just chilling underwater. Like,
Yeah, I
you
guess.
dead? You okay?
Well, I mean, he's not laying there. He's sitting. Like like there's uh, where we would do it. It's in Mexico. There's like this river and the water's very clear, so you can see. You know. You can see what they're doing and whatnot. And he would go like the very bottom, and like there's a little stone. Let's say he'd just sit on the stone. He's just sitting there, just chilling, vibing.
All right.
It's very calming underwater.
It is actually.
I mean,
Feels a
it's
bit
a
like
river, has a low current. It's not very. It's very relaxing.
Yeah, I
you know
wish I
why.
didn't float sometimes,
Well, the way I used to do it was I would just like starfish float on the top of the water on my tummy.
Well, that's what I did, yeah.
That's great.
I had a bad experience once, so now I'm like traumatized, and I can swim, but I'm just I'd be scared. I'd be scared
Oh,
now.
To float or to go underwater?
Water
Go on,
isn't that scary.
go underwater.
You have to face your fears.
You
you
don't
should
open
be
your eyes
facing them
underwater
every
anyway.
day
like
if he's taking showers.
the thing is so h- the way it happened was we were at that river, right, and it's very deep. It has like there's areas where it's super deep, and like my brother doesn't know how to swim, and I do. So I was like, okay, if you want to go over here, just follow me, and I'll step in areas where there's no holes. That way you can cross with me to the other side. So we were crossing, right? And well, he stepped in an area that I didn't step in, and he fell in this little hole. So he was sinking. And I turn around and I see him sinking, and I panicked. So I threw myself in there and took him out. But I was panicking, so I like brain shut off and just, oh, okay, don't swim. And I just started sinking myself. And the last thing I saw was just a hand, like go into the water, and it was my dad's hand. So I grabbed on, and he pulled me out. And yeah, I've been traumatized ever since.
Yeah, that's scary. It
Yeah,
is.
Yeah, it's
I was
scary.
really scared. But yeah, so fuck water.
Oh
Okay,
Fair
God.
fair
enough.
I
enough.
just it's just I love how both of y'all. Fair enough. The only thing is when it comes to swimming, I don't like going in the deep end. Even though again I know how to swim, it's just I'd be scared. I big pussy.
I'm not scared of the deep end in like swimming pools, but the deep end of the ocean, I'm pretty scared of.
The deep end of the ocean's got some stuff down there.
That's
Well,
a whole other topic I want to talk about.
I'm in this great country called Australia. We have
Is it
this
really?
wonderful thing called sharks.
Is it
Yeah.
really? Everything wants to kill you there.
Look,
That's Great
okay.
White area over there, isn't it?
Yep.
Great
Yeah,
Whites
yeah, yeah. Yep.
travel between um California and Australia primarily.
That whole Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, but like they sort of migrate. There
Uh-huh.
was I remember reading an article about how they tagged a great white shark and have like monitored its GPS coordinates, and it almost makes
Mhm.
like a triangle, like a consistent triangle between like Australia, like California, and then somewhere in the Pacific, like the Philippine area or like Samoa, somewhere over there. So it makes this giant triangle that it just continues cycling through.
That's a lot of swimming.
Yeah, but they don't stop swimming. They need to
Yeah.
swim for their heart to beat or to breathe, which keeps their heart beating.
Yeah. But yeah, we got them great white boys.
We're talking
They're
about
pretty cool.
sharks, Luli.
Yeah?
Oh my. Oh, I don't like
Hey,
you. I don't I don't like you.
this podcast is gonna have a lot of editing.
confused.
He said
This-
great white boys.
No, no.
Australia is full of great white boys. I don't know what you're talking.
All right. All right. Never mind.
No, they're usually tan over here.
Yeah, they're bright red. They're burnt.
Yeah, the
Oh, I
sun
know
causes
I know the
cancer
name
over
for
here,
that. I know.
Well, the
I know
sun
the name
causes
for that.
cancer everywhere, but yes.
but mostly here. There used to be it's mostly because there used to be this belief that one of my teachers told me about where you didn't have a good day at the beach unless you got sunburnt, so a lot of people just wouldn't wear sunscreen.
Jesus.
Healthy.
Yeah,
And
all
then you
right.
got
Well,
people like me spend 5 minutes outside, the skin's already a little red.
Same.
yeah.
I cook easy.
I am the great white boy.
Yeah.
The great white pasty boy.
Yeah, I gotta worry about my head burning now.
That's
Fine.
gonna be me pretty soon. That's gonna be me pretty soon. I feel that.
Wear
I
a
have
hat.
too
Yeah.
much hair, so I have to deal with that.
What if I don't look good in a hat, Matt?
Wear
You're
a
literally
wig.
wearing
What-
a bucket hat.
I actually
Wear a
look.
wig.
Bucket hats are amazing. Nah, I'm not gonna. What am I, a coward and running away from my baldness? No, dude.
I
Embrace it.
point my head
Be a
straight at the
man.
sun.
That's the attitude right there, Arma.
I mean, well, male baldness is linked to the testosterone you have, so the more you have, the more likely you are to go bald. So, you guys are just more manly than us.
It's true. You can tell by the fact that we're here on a science podcast that we're extremely manly and
I guess, yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
I
I
hope
wish I
no
was more
one's.
feminine.
Oh.
I wish I had my hair. No,
HRT. There's your answer.
I don't know if that makes your hair grow back though.
TLC, tender loving care.
TLC.
Maybe. You can go either or both.
Okay,
Bye.
I hope TLC makes my hair grow back.
What are you gonna do? Just like pat it? There.
Oh,
It's okay.
I love you, head. Please grow more hair.
I love you, Mr. Bubs.
You just encourage it.
You love me too.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that's how I'm gonna. That's on the next podcast, huh? How to grow hair.
Yeah.
What's the best way to go? Is it TLC or what other method?
HRT.
There you go.
Hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
I'm
Pump
with
yourself.
TLC.
Pump
There
yourself
are
full of estrogen, and you'll make it.
take birth control pills.
I don't think that sounds healthy.
What happens if a guy takes birth control
He
pills?
doesn't get
Arma, do
pregnant.
you know?
Well, that's a good point.
Wait, I have a fun fact about pregnancy in men.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's go down this
Okay,
route.
so
Let's see where this leads.
if a man takes a pregnancy test and it comes back positive, it's linked to, I think, prostate cancer.
Oh,
Oh, you know what?
So,
I actually have heard that.
yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of this.
if you take a pregnancy test and it comes back positive, you might want to go to the doctor.
And thus
They're
that
like,
proves
haha,
that children are
okay.
cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arma, no.
I'm sorry. It was set up too well.
It was a good joke.
Thank you.
Anyways, so now you know.
I'm gonna pee on a stick.
Oh no.
Which kind? Not all of them are gonna
Don't
do anything for you.
don't ask. Don't ask. Why'd you ask?
I was, I just.
I'm glad you asked.
I mean, he is
No,
a
I
dog.
take it back.
So.
All right,
He's a
conversation
bear.
banned again.
We keep doing this.
I'm glad someone's doing it.
Look, I've brought on a high chaos cast, so
yeah, pretty much.
this is about what I expected. But that's fine.
We like We
Yeah.
like chaos.
We do. We do enjoy chaos. All right. So, new topic. What do you guys think about holograms?
Like
Oh,
Tupac?
I was about to
Yeah.
say Tupac.
See, that's a good starting
I'm
point because that was in
confused.
fact a hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. It looked like he was alive, but
He was.
he
That was actually him.
oh
Oh.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a
That-
lot. There's actually a conspiracy theory
I know. I
about how he's
know.
alive. So
That's every famous person that dies is just like, but what if they're still alive?
no Arma. Go listen to his music and play it backwards, and you're gonna hear him
oh
say,
my
Oh
god.
"Yes,
my
I'm alive and I'm
gosh.
missing you." No,
Oh, he's
that's
missing
actually
us.
well, that's what he says in his song. If you play it backwards,
Are you sure that's not
Oh.
just Satan?
oh, oh
That's
Satan
no.
misses us. Aw.
yeah.
He's waiting for the day that we can join him.
He's
Yeah.
waiting.
Very patiently.
But I don't know any other forms of. Is it maybe Miku? What was her name? Is it Miku?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
well,
seen
that's
them
sort of
equal.
augmented reality. Well,
Yes.
are her concerts are
The
they have
concerts are
a
holograms. Or at least the
Huh.
ones with a live audience. Like the one that was just recently, that one didn't have a live audience. So I think it was just her projected in through like the computer.
yeah. But it's interesting with Miku and other like 100% digital pop stars, which is also
Vocaloids.
like a whole crazy thing. Um, but like that's where a bunch of money is. So you're probably likely to see a bunch of the technology grow there in like that sector, because people are spending all these money on Hatsune Miku concerts, and it's just like, well, what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna make Miku even more real and get people hooked even harder.
They
And
need to fix her hair physics first.
I have a question.
yeah, they need to update that 3D model. It's looking a little aged.
She's getting a little old.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that in the future they will have concerts of old bands or old singers that
Ooh.
I'm talking about like 50, 60 years from now,
Like bringing the
right?
Beatles back.
Yeah, and they'll have like concerts in
100%. There's
like
so
that. You
much
think?
money to do a digital reunion concert. Like I know there's gonna be people who are like, it's not the same, but you know, I've never had a chance to go to a Beatles concert, right? So
Yeah, me either.
if
And
I'm a super fan, but I mean I like their music, they're good, but I probably wouldn't go to a digital concert.
I'd go to George Michael's concert
Yeah.
Oh my god.
if they brought back That's why I'm asking this. Do you think I never ever went to go see George Michael, and it's one of the it haunts me.
Oh. Oh.
But
He
if
haunts you?
they,
Wait,
it,
George Michael is haunting you?
I kind of wish,
If you play his
but
music backwards, does he say he misses you?
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
I could try. I've never actually. I'm gonna have to listen to Careless Whispers
Get an editor, put
backwards.
that in.
Yeah. So as of right now, you guys are gonna listen to George Michael's Careless Whispers, playing it back right
Copyright.
now.
It can't be copyrighted because it's backwards.
It's
So
backwards.
they can't say
Oh,
it's a...
wait, does that work?
I don't
I don't
Does
know.
know.
that work? That's a good question.
Well, you
But
can get around copyright by just playing music like like I think it's 1.25 speed or more faster. So that's
oh,
probably why all
Huh.
those Nightcore songs aren't copyrighted.
Oh.
makes sense actually. But that is my question. Will I ever see George Michael's play? Well, not him because he's dead, but
His hologram.
His hologram. Will I ever see him up close and sing Careless Whispers for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. He's decently popular, but I don't know like the Beatles or Elvis or Michael
Decently.
Jackson or something, right? Like people know that there's money to be made there if they had some sort of like virtual reunion concert or something,
Shit,
right?
it'd take my money if it was George Michael.
Right. To be honest, I don't know how popular George Michael's is, but like
I can be biased.
you're definitely biased.
You think?
That's the guy. I think he's pretty famous. I think he's pretty well known.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I like him.
Like I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
recognize Careless Whispers, but I would not be able to tell you another song by
Oh
him.
yeah,
He did the Christmas song, right?
yeah. Last Christmas.
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's okay.
he also did "Wake Me Up Before You Go."
Okay, you know
Come
what?
on. He did?
Oh yes.
Oh,
That's
I had no
Web.
idea.
That's Web. That's him.
Oh.
Come on,
I had no
dude.
idea. To be fair, I'm bad at music, so like knowing the names of songs and bands and recording artists are just beyond me a lot of the time.
Do you think we'll see the Bee Gees? I mean, they're still.
I would go to that.
I
I
would
would
go see the
go
Bee Gees.
see the
Maybe.
Bee Gees.
I think it depends, like how easy it would depend on like how much video footage and stuff there are, right? Like
So like Michael Jackson.
enough good like well lit angles, right? Like I think Michael Jackson would be like a prime candidate for this type of thing.
Well, I mean, someone made Michael Jackson in Black Desert Online. So
Right, that's the thing. Like you can just
I'm
have
not
a 3D model made and then oh, I mean we could get into deep fakes, right?
Oh, you're
Where
talking about like the people who like dress up like them and shit like that?
no. Not like impersonators, but deep fakes as in the computer created images where it's like we've put this person's face on like this other person and that other person is an actor. And
Oh.
so deepfakes are a crazy thing. They sort of became more popular back in like the 2016 elections between Hillary Clinton and Trump,
Oh, yeah.
because it was around then when I saw a bunch of videos where they were deep fakes. They were still kind of janky, but they had, you know, like I saw it for both candidates, but I would see their face superimposed like on somebody else, and they'd talk and then the mouth would move and everything, and it would line up decently well. You'd see artifacts and stuff like around the neck and how like the lighting wouldn't quite match the face compared to like the clothes and stuff like that.
I think there's this one guy on TikTok maybe that does a really good impression of a guy.
Yeah, that's the thing with deepfakes is if you get one of those like impersonators, record them doing the impersonation where they have all the mannerisms and stuff down, and then put the deepfake, because the way you make a deepfake is you train a computer algorithm based off of thousands and thousands of photos of a person. The more photos you have with like good lighting, the better. And you can basically recreate a full like digital like reconstruction of their face, and you can rig it to be to match up with other people that you record. I saw a video where these guys um,
Are deepfakes VTubers?
What?
Well, I mean,
I
same
don't
sort of concept.
if they made a career out of it, but then you're making money off of someone else's likeness, which I think is definitely illegal.
Copyright.
If I'm being a VTuber of a character that's a character that exists somewhere else, first of all, I'm probably gonna get copyright claimed.
Alright, I'm Michael Jackson now, guys.
Oh shit!
Oh hey, what's up?
It's just he.
He.
Cause no, the one I was thinking on TikTok is Tom Cruise. It's a deep fake of Tom Cruise on TikTok,
Oh yeah,
and it's like really good apparently. I don't know. I don't remember much about it, but I know it's on there.
I gotta
yeah,
Google that.
yeah. No, I saw that. The Tom Cruise, because it's this Tom Cruise impersonator, and he uses deepfake technology to reskin Tom Cruise's likeness on top of his own face. So he like correctly imitates the voice, the mannerisms, and then uses the technology to copy his face. And it's super realistic, and it's one of those things that right now we're sort of entering this kind of like gray area of like, hey, if you see a video of someone online, it might not be them.
That's
Right?
scary.
Like it's sort of like, video Photoshop kind of thing where like live video in our heads, it's like, okay, you can't really mess with that too much. Like you have special effects, so if you have put a ton of money into it, you could, change some stuff around. But
Mhm.
this sort of security that we've had uh, is kind of getting broken down with deep fakes because you make these hyper realistic uh, recreations of people. And I'm sure we'll get better at like differentiating between deep fakes and a real person. Just in the same way when you look at something and you're like, that's photoshopped.
Shopped.
Like when
Yeah.
Photoshop first came out, people were like, I didn't even know you could edit photos like this. Uh,
Mhm. Which actually it's surprising because people have been editing photos since photos began, like
oh yeah,
being taken. So the fact that people didn't know you could edit them, it's crazy.
yeah. But
The only thing
Photoshop,
that irks me
go ahead.
about that is his hair. In those videos, the Tom Cruise deepfakes, is his hair does look fake.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Those are those things that we'll slowly adjust to once we all start seeing enough deep fakes. It's just we're gonna get got by them every once in a while where it's just like, wow, I can't believe there's this video of Tom Cruise going on like a rant about something and like, wait a minute, hold on. Why does this exist? And then if you look at it, it's like, this isn't a Tom Cruise account. Like, who is
This
this?
isn't Tom Cruise.
We
That's
didn't talk
Tom
about
Trues.
Scientology once yet. Um,
Oh my god.
but yeah, so the reason I brought up deep fakes is that technology combined with like holographic projection on like a 3D model uh, can create a pretty realistic effect if you were going to put on basically a revival tour, like literally a revival tour
And
of an artist.
if you yeah, and if you think about it, you can even use those like those suits that they used to make those games, like the Detroit Become Human Beyond Two
Yeah,
Souls
mocap
games.
suits with the balls all
Yeah,
over them.
those. And they could use those to like capture someone who had the exact same proportions and stuff, and then they'll
Hmm.
just put the deepfake technology on their face, and it's like they're there.
Right. You just have somebody who can like do the dance, right? It's like find some guy who can moonwalk, and then you're good.
Yeah.
I'll do it for $5.
That's it.
There you go. There's an offer. You listening, Hollywood?
I'll
Support
do it
right
for
here.
$5.
Five
Chat put in his
dollars.
resume.
We'll
Five
moonwalk.
whole buckaroos, and I'll moonwalk for you, baby.
Buckaroos. That's it, Australia's got the dollary-doos. America's got the
We got the
buckaroos.
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 I support it.
What, me moonwalking or buckaroos?
Both.
Buckaroos.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
emotionally invested into both of these ideas.
Nice. Get yourself a friend like Arma. Supporting he supports me in my moonwalks
And
Yeah.
in buckaroos.
and my buckaroos. Yeah.
I do what I can. Um, But yeah, I was thinking about holograms recently because I saw a video like a couple weeks back of uh, these guys who had like done holographic projection, but literally just in the air, right? Like the stuff like
Oh,
Tupac is projected up into it was like smoke or mist or something like that. Like they needed something or like like a flat screen to project it onto.
mm.
Um,
They
I
need
don't
something to catch the light,
right.
essentially.
Yes, thank you. Um, but what I saw in that video was they have one laser which holds like a particle in the air. I don't know how that works to be honest, but one laser sort of stabilizes like a dust particle in the air, and then another laser illuminates it. And then they move
Mm.
both lasers together to draw in the air really fast, and it creates a floating hologram because it moves at speeds so fast that our eyes have that like residual vision. That's not what it's called, but you know how if you look at something for long enough and you look away, it's still kind of in your vision.
Mhm.
Oh
Especially
yeah,
with
yeah.
light.
Yeah, it's like
Light does that as well. Like gets
yeah,
burned into you.
yeah, it's like it's like visual persistence or something. But it takes advantage of that and the speed that the lasers can move at and draw whole little shapes. The
So
example,
Tupac,
yeah, yeah, they'll draw all of Tupac. Um, yeah,
of course.
but yeah, no, it's a very different technology because the way that dual laser projection works uh, means that you can just do it like anywhere, right? You don't need a screen. You don't need like a whole bunch of. You don't need like a
Smoke.
whole huge laser setup. You kind of just need those couple, and it can draw like little holograms, right? So like theoretically, that can be on like an alarm clock, right? Like in those sci-fi shows and stuff, you have just like, oh, the person wakes up, they hit their alarm clock, and then a little icon of a face shows up, and it's just like, oh, good morning, Dave. Uh, would you
But
like
how
to
does
hear
it
about
talk
the
to
weather?
you?
Well, it just uses a speaker, but
No, but like, is it animated by somebody, or like, do they like in Tupac's instance, did they like get video of Tupac and then like
yeah,
just use that?
Yeah, he
It's
recorded it before they put it on the show.
no, I mean,
it
like,
was pre-recorded video that they used.
Yeah.
but like there wasn't an animator that was like
No, not for Tupac.
studying Tupac and was like he probably moves like this and we'll animate him like this.
No, they called Tupac and told him to get in a green room, and
The
and
green
he
room.
he was just dancing there and doing his thing, and there you
Sir,
go.
it's
What?
not Tupac.
Oh, they could have done that, but with the guy that looked like Tupac, you never know.
Maybe.
Back to the deep fake.
Yeah, it all clips together, and like right now, Tupac is in a cryo.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right next to Walt Disney.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's
And a bunch of other
Can't wait.
Futurama heads.
yeah.
Can't wait for his performance with Hatsune Miku as holograms.
Oh my god.
Speaking of Hatsune Miku, wasn't there that guy who married her?
Oh my god.
Didn't he marry like a body pillow or something or a figure of her?
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
know. He married her. I think it was because you can have those little like in-home things where it's like this cute little anime girl who's like, "Welcome home" or whatever.
There was a
I think
dude
he
who had
married
a
her, like,
DS game that was like a little virtual girl or something that was like a
oh,
daily little thing that you check in on, and uh he married her. I saw a whole interview about that, and he's just like, "Yeah, I know she's like not real, but it makes me feel better."
Oh,
And I was just
Oh,
like,
poor
oh.
guy.
I was just like, I want to make fun of him, but like, he's very sincere.
I know there's a picture of like a guy where he has like wine and stuff, and like he's having a fancy like dinner, at home, and then the camera turns and it's like his
Yes.
laptop, and it's a picture of like a waifu.
Wife.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
and then when he goes to bed, like on the other side of his bed, he has a like picture frame of his waifu, and then a body pillow.
Speaker
That
that's
is
like, oh,
just
yes, me.
that is just creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little much. But you know what? I encourage
Do
people
you
to
know?
pursue happiness as long as it's not illegal.
Yeah, I
Uh,
looked it up. And, so I sleep on my stomach. I don't know about the rest of you, but I sleep on my stomach.
uh-huh.
And I was like looking it up because I have like a lot of back pain, a lot, and I was like, what's the best way for me to be sleeping at night? And they were like, well, if you like to sleep on your stomach, you should sleep with a body pillow because it'll give you the same feeling of sleeping on your stomach. And I was like, great, I'm medically prescribed a body pillow.
Gotta get,
No
I gotta get me a
escape.
waifu. It's, I
Yeah,
mean, my doctor's, prescribed me a waifu. I have to go
like
get me a body pillow.
Imagine
Doctor's orders.
walking into somebody's room and it's just like full of body pillows and you're just stunned in silence and the person turns to you and says, "They're for my back pain." And it's just like, excuse me.
Aha.
like I've got the prescription.
The doctor's note is like framed on the wall. It's like, look, see, I can prove it. I don't have a problem. It's a medical condition. Oh, that's funny. You know what? On that note, I think we should wrap things up here. We're at about an hour and a half, so keeping it consistent with the other podcasts. Does anyone have
Nice.
any final notes?
Go listen to
Uh,
Tupac songs backwards.
no, George
Yes.
Michael's
I want to
because
marry
you
my
wanted.
body pillow.
Actually, you know what? Go listen to George Michael's songs backwards and tell me if you find anything. And if you do, make a whole fucking comment. Let me know, and I will believe you. Doesn't
If you leave the
Just
just
like
comment, he'll
that.
believe you. There
I
you
just
have it.
You can't lie on the internet.
you
So
can't.
I mean,
And if there's a chance that George Michael is out there somewhere alive, in I don't know Puerto I don't know what's a good Puerto Rico, Cuba,
is that where
Sure.
everyone's going?
Argentina. I don't know. It has to be somewhere nice. I don't know if Cuba's nice because
They got cigars.
you might be there.
You might.
Anyway,
So,
George Michael, if you're out there, we miss you. And
Chap
We
misses you a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
I miss him a lot. That
He's
was the
upset that
shittiest Christmas ever
on
when
the
you
day
passed
that
away.
he died, he was getting it on.
It was Christmas.
It's a way to go.
I remember.
All right, let's let's hit the end of this thing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Embrace the cursed energy and the science we've brought to you today, and just enjoy yourself. Have fun. Keep positives. That's not
It's
doesn't make
super
any
fantastic
grammatical
what you
sense, but
do each
Positives,
day.
yes.
keep positives.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
I
I'm
like
just
that.
saying
electrons.
I'll be your
that I.
negatives. I love you,
Oh,
babies.
Is that negative? That sounds kind of positive. It's love.
Yeah. It's love.
Oh.
All
Way to
right.
go.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Okay.
so
Bye.
goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone.